Welcome, everybody. We're gonna get started here in another minute or so. So I appreciate you guys, the early birds, jumping on. Tim, you got a bunch of early birds jumping on. Let's see. Robert Deloso's on. He's my cigar buddy. We'll be doing cigars
Hey, we love
tomorrow.
Robert.
Yeah. Oh, Lisa Whitley. Hello, Lisa. Uh, let's see who else we have. Anne, Diana. Thank you all for jumping on. You got a bunch more coming on. We're gonna start this thing in about 1 minute.
Man, I'm hearing some of these names and I'm like, you guys can speak more intelligently to all this than I can already. Let's get some of them on here now.
Right? Tim Richards, Stephanie Michael, Shannon Rowe. Thank you guys for jumping on. All right. Uh, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and let's start us off. So today we have my good buddy, Tim Wallace. Tim and I have known each other for a long time. Tim was at Tennant Turner for many years. And what was it the last two now? You with zInspector?
Yeah, coming up on 2 years with zInspector now.
2 years, and I'm a huge fan of zInspector. We used it at my property management firm. I believe we use it at my new firm that Mosin runs. Mo, if you're on here, let me know if we actually use them. Um, Huge fan. zInspector just put some training on our platform. So if you're ever looking for a remote team member and you want them to have some zInspector training, they can actually take some training, take a course, and get certified on the platform. We also know that now's a time where we got a lot of make readies, move in, move outs, all that good stuff. So it's a great time. You got to do a lot of inspections. So it's a great time to have Tim on and talk to us through it. Now we have the Q&A open. I don't believe the chat is open. So if you have a question, Tim's agreed that I can go ahead and you can put something out there in the Q&A and I will interrupt him as he's speaking and we'll get those questions answered as quickly as possible. With no further ado, Tim, take it away.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen here. I got a little slideshow to share with everyone here. But yeah, thanks Pete for having us today, and looking forward to showing you all a little bit some of our tips and tricks on our side of things. At the same time, it sounds like we've got a lot of users in here that are very familiar with some of these processes already. So, um, if you want to share some of your experiences at the end as well, besides just a Q&A, if you've got a fun story to share, I think, Pete, if we got some time at the end, I'd love to hear from some of these people that are having some experience with some of these things as well. But yeah, today talking about staying aware and ahead of your renewals and turns. There's a few
Actually,
different things.
Tim, can we, is it public now? Can we talk about the merger real quick? Do you want to let everybody know about that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you wanted to tease on-site pros.
Well, I just think it's two of my favorite companies joining together. I think it's a pretty cool thing.
It
So,
is. It's been really cool.
because some
Just
of these folks may have not been at Norton Broker owner.
that's
So,
right. If you weren't a broker owner or rent vine this last week around, you're going to see a lot of us combining with on-site pros in whether it's booths side by side or shared booths over the next year or so. We've got a partnership going with on-site pros now too, where um, we got the awesome software meets service, where our phrase that we're using is we're better together. So obviously you've got us for the background with taking care of any inspection needs you have with turns and everything with your team. But if you need an on-site pro to help manage things, that's our goal now, is to help you guys have that service available to as many of our customers as possible throughout the entire country. We've got some really cool integration pieces coming here in the next couple of weeks where on-site pros reports will be able to come in through zInspector. And that's just the beginning. There's a whole bunch more coming, but don't want to tease too much of it yet. Keep everyone in suspense, right?
well, I'm going to say the one big thing I heard, and you can tell me, you can dispel it if it's a myth, is that on-site pros will now go um, to any market that zInspector is in. Is
Oh,
that
you're throwing the big guns out there. That
is,
that is the goal. We're not quite ready to pull that trigger
okay?
yet, but yes, if you've got a need, that's our goal, is to get out there to as many markets as possible wherever we're needed. Yep.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, Tim. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there. We didn't even
No,
talk about
you're
that in the
totally
green
fine,
room.
Pete. I hate being the guy that overpromises, underdelivers, but at the same time, I was in marketing for 4 years. So, hey, I love it's exciting. It's awesome. And who doesn't love Phil Owen? Like I get to work hand in hand with him now even more. We love that guy and that entire team over there. It's going to be exciting. Well, today, unfortunately, we're talking about a different challenge. Busy season turns, and renewals and term management, it gets chaotic. So we're going to talk about how as people are notifying you guys of whether or not they're going to renew, the best practice is around, okay, how do we send out these renewal inspections to these tenants to get those taken care of? And then at the same time, if someone notifies you that they're not moving or that they are planning on moving out, every state varies a little bit. Maybe some have 30-day notices, some have 60, some have 90. Managing all those as they come in and getting those pre-move out inspections taken care of and those invitations out as well. So a lot of this today is focused on uh, tenant completed inspections, just for you guys' awareness, so that when things happen and maybe you've got those tenants that have been maybe not submitting maintenance requests as they were supposed to. So helping you guys catch all these things before it becomes a bigger issue during those turns and those renewal processes. And then we'll talk about some of our bulk tools and data and some ways that different groups are using some of those things to stay on top of everything as well. And then just some best practices and tips from the field. We got Pete here as well, where his teams have had experience with some of this stuff as well. And whether or not it's in our tool or just, takeaways from living in the field, right? You know how it goes. So also invite anyone here. If you got fun stories or horror stories, feel free to chime in and along the way as well as we go. So yeah, as we are saying, renewals pile up. I know everyone here has probably had an experience of at least a few altogether, but we've got some bigger portfolios as well in here. Dozens of leases expiring all at once, all without a system. Things slip by. Turns stack up really quickly. Move outs, make readies, move ins overlapping with no visibility. So, if you're not on top of your reporting and what's going on there in all these different processes, um, there's lots of things that can go slipping through the cracks. And obviously, there's some great tools out there that I'm sure a lot of people are using, whether it's Apply, whether it's Lead Simple, processes, flows, things like that. Lots of cool things you can do to stay on top of these things. And so we're just one more step in the process that we can help you guys get through some of these things and be on top of different variations of reporting. Um, we have seen, and I'm sure a lot of people on this call as well, you've probably seen some of your teams be more reactive than proactive. And that's whether that's a leadership thing or a personnel thing or just, a chaos thing. It happens to the best of us. And so if we're chasing information, we're always going to be a little bit behind. Our goal here is to make it so you're not chasing too much. And then when that happens, what's the aftermath of if your team is a little bit behind and an owner doesn't get everything they're expecting, or, you know, owners are looking at everything along the entire lifetime of the lease with maintenance and things like that. We all know that's one of the biggest pain points for owners is having unexpected costs. Imagine what those can hit them when a turn is happening and you're recommending a full rehab because some of those maintenance requests didn't get submitted or things like that. So our goal is to help you guys maintain as much of that owner confidence as possible as well. And so that's where we come in with the renewal inspections. Our goal here is essentially to get as much information as possible without having to, send someone out to the property necessarily. One invite gets you two different answers. So from one inspection, we can find out you can do this actually if you're not also already submitting things through. I know Appfolio will send out renewal requests and things like that. If you guys aren't submitting those, highly recommend doing different things to stay on top of that stuff. But what you can also do within zInspector is a renewal inspection request. So you can find out if they're interested in renewing. You can actually put in the Ooh, slow me down for a second there. We have a template ready for this. So the template can actually let them know and submit how long of a renewal term they want. They can go ahead and put in this any roommate or occupant changes, whether or not there are going to be any changes to animals policies, uh, smoke detector status. Another thing that is really cool in these ones as well is you can double check all of the HVAC filter history, confirming we've got our awesome partners out there as well that put dates on wonderful air filters, and you can be able to see when those were in there. But the bigger thing here, those critical and minor repair needs. So making sure that all those things are documented, and some tenants just don't think of submitting some of those maintenance requests. They'll deal with it, or they're afraid to because they don't want necessarily the aftermath of being blamed for something that they did and things like that. And then last but not least, it's an opportunity to get that signature and get some sort of documentation saying, "Hey, yeah, I plan on renewing." Um,
Tim, how do you get them to do this? You use the carrot or the stick? Like what? Like because obviously they have to do something. It's going to take some time. They're
yep.
busy. It's not top priority. How do you get them to actually do this work?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that I've heard from different people out there. Some people actually build it into their lease now. We're saying, hey, if we send you an inspection request, you've got a certain time frame to complete it, and if you don't complete it, then and we have to send someone out in person, there's going to be a charge to it. Other people, it's just, tenants tend to be more friendly with just a little bit of a software push instead of, or that threat of having someone come to do this type of inspection. They're more interested in, hey, no, I'll get this information to you. We're in a market right now too, where, from what I understand, lots of markets out there are having extended days on market. Like people just aren't looking at moving right now, or just not a lot of renters entering the market this year as well. There's lots of different things, lots of different factors come into consideration here. So it's one of those things where we can send this invitation through email. They have a certain time frame to complete it, and that seems to be working pretty well.
I'm a little naive because when we had zInspector, you didn't have this tool. This is a great tool, by the way. Um, do they need the zInspector app, or is it like they get a text message and then they open, like, how does it work through the
Yeah, great question.
software?
So tenant completed inspections are invitations go out via email. And so there is a link that is in that email for the tenant to download the Z Tenant app. Z Tenant's really cool because it can be completely customized and white label for you guys. You can put your logo in there, your colors. So when they get in the app itself, it'll have the link for them, the button for them to complete their inspection. But you can also add any other buttons in there too. Like if you have a maintenance request, it'll auto direct to your maintenance portal, or have a question, can redirect to dialing the phone number for your maintenance team or whatnot for non-emergency type of stuff or whatnot. You guys can basically whatever redirects you want in that app. But yeah, generally speaking, the Z Tenant app is built with pretty similar functionality to the Z Inspector app, where they go in. It's really simple for them to see which areas they need to take pictures of. Those areas are forced to take pictures. They can add some notes if they want to as well, and then submit and sign, and it goes from there.
How do you get them, like, if they have a hole that they created in a door, let's just say, how do you get them to take a picture of that? Are they doing, do they have the same access to 360 pictures
No, so Z
right?
Tenant is
So,
is built so it's just using the native camera on the phone. We want to keep it as simple as possible for tenants and not overcomplicate things for them.
right.
Um, yeah, so that is one of the downsides of tenant completed inspections is you will see what they want you to see, so you might not always get the full picture. Um,
So
but
the positive is you don't have to send somebody out there. The positive is that, most of them are going to do the right thing to take all the
most of them will,
pictures.
yeah,
The negative is like, hey, they can kind of circumvent some like if they're not supposed to have a dog there, they're not gonna take a picture of the dog,
yeah.
right?
But a lot of times that you'll see signs of those things. Like it might
Sure.
not be a perfect inspection, as if one of your staff members went out there and completed it for you. But there's little things you might see that maybe you weren't able to catch before, and definitely things you couldn't catch on a phone call because you can't see the property itself.
Well, the other positive is, like just getting somebody out there is a challenge, but getting somebody to coordinate that is a challenge as well, and that costs extra money too. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So, do you have any numbers like out of all the Z tenants that get sent out, what's the percentage that actually get done?
I don't off the top of my head, actually, because it does vary all over the place, and I don't want to just throw a nationwide number out there because there's so many that happen, and the numbers are constantly changing right now, busy season versus off season. But that's one of the piece of data I'd be interested in pulling and getting out there in the near future. But
Maybe you can, if you can pull that or something and send it to the group. Like we
yeah,
we
for
can we
sure.
can do that.
And that
Uh, and then I got a question here from Phil Cristofaro, uh, good Goomba like myself. Is it for pictures only, or do they do video as well?
From what I understand, in Z Tenant, it is still pictures only. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't updated that myself in a while. I apologize, guys. Um, but yes, pictures only for Z Tenant, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas the video and everything is built in with the Z Inspector app for your staff's usage. Um, in fact, there's some really cool things there. If you haven't taken a look at the new Z Inspector app and the Z Assistant piece, I'll tease that as well. Go check it out. And if you need an update, we'll talk about how to schedule a demo and an update and training for your team as well at the end here. But yeah, going on here to the next section. If you haven't sent invitations through the inspector before, this process is really easy. Um, it takes less than 2 minutes per tenant. You go to the tenants tab. If you've logged into the inspector, you know there's the tabs at the top of the page. Go to tenants and then click tenant inspection. And then all it is there is you can adjust the email, add whatever verbiage you want to send, put in there, set the send date, the expiration date, so you can customize your timeline, and then the time frame for when you want to disable access to that, and kind of set a notification internally to say, hey, okay, we finally do need to send a person out there, and then it's sent. And then you can also do this by the lease date too. So I totally just messed up all these instructions, guys. I was going out of order. Lease date, tenant inspection, and then select your template. So you want to select the tenant renewal inspection, and then customize the email and send it. And then you're able to track the status within the zInspector web app as well. So you can see who you've invited, which ones are scheduled, which ones are expiring, and submitting there. If you're on our enterprise or max plans, you can invite multiple tenants at once. Just search by the lease date, and then when you have all those lease dates up for the time frame you want, you can bulk send to all those people with that same process. Choose a template, customize the email, send it, and then track all the statuses as well. So that's the nice thing about us is it's basically a big database for you guys to be able to track and see all these inspections that are happening as they're going, sort by time frame, sort by due date, things like that. So if you haven't played with zInspector lately, go in there and play with the timeline and see what you can figure out.
Tim, I know you guys have a bunch of API connections for your like standard inspections.
Yep.
Is the Z tenant also go directly into the like into your software as well? Like AppFolio or Rentvine or something like
So
that?
yeah, there are a couple of softwares that we do push the tenant inspections back. Um, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly which ones will push to the tenant tab or the lease tab, the files, but generally all these reports will go back into your property management software. Um, if you have requests on specific routing you need, let us know. I know a lot of these property management softwares out there that we have those APIs with are awesome at redirecting. I think AppFolio was the one that just recently opened it up so we can push to tenant files now. So their reports will sit on their in that location within the property management software as well.
Thank you.
Yep. Great question. And that's actually, obviously, if you've got your integrations turned on, that's actually how we can pull the lease date from your property management software to begin with. If you're manually adding some of this information in there, you don't have a connection with the property management software, that's fine. Like I said, this is a big database where all this information is searchable just based on those timeframes that you put in. So if you are manually adding, I highly recommend not just coming up with a pie in the sky date. Put your specific dates in there within zInspector so that this is all trackable and manageable.
Tim, do you know most of your clients, are they doing this annually once a year? Are they doing it like twice a year? How
Yeah, so the renewal inspection obviously is based on your lease dates there. But yeah, you can do tenant completed inspections at any time frame you guys want. We do highly recommend some sort of tenant completed inspection, you know, 3 to 4 months in on a lease. That's a good helpful identifier to see, hey, is this person going to complete something we ask them to? And then that's also a good time frame to see, just kind of get a gauge on the property. Is it still in the same condition it was when they moved in, based on the photos they're capturing? Just little things like that, kind of quick heads
so
up.
basically I can send as many as I want. Is there a special cost on how many I send, or like is it all within the one cost
Nope.
of
If you're on a
one
plan
inspection?
that includes tenant inspections, you can send out as many of those inspections requests as you want.
Don't do them monthly though, folks, right? Is this Buildium friendly as well?
Yes, we did just complete our API with Buildium as well. So we can send and receive reports, the data, and push reports back into Buildium now too. So that API is live.
Do you guys have like kind of recommendations on like do you recommend we send one like after 90 days and maybe send one like 9 months before or right
Yeah,
three
so the
months
90
before?
days is a good one. Working with Phil always recommends the on-site pros. If you can have a staff member complete something mid-lease, that's kind of the best practice. If not, we're here. You can do another one there. And then the 90-day prior to, yeah,
Prior
the
to
nine
move
months in,
prior to
or
the lease
90
end
days
date?
prior to your renewal or move out, that's kind of the good one where you can gauge, okay, there's this pre-renewal or this renewal or pre-move out template where you can send kind of gauge their intent and say, okay, do you want to move in, move out? Do you want to move out? Are you staying? How long do you want to stay? That template's built out there so they can answer those questions and submit those basics as well. So
Yeah, I
we
think this is
recommend
a
at
great. I
least three
think
times during the life of a lease. Obviously, we have a lot of student housing customers as well, where I remember in college, I was having to do monthly in-person inspections with the staff. So there's
that
some,
doesn't.
maybe I went to a problem school, maybe not,
Well,
but
I know you, Tim, so that's possible.
but at the same time, there's just kind of depends on the demographics of what you guys are working with and kind of the what the owners are expecting as well. Student housing probably do a little bit more frequently than a normal 12-month lease time frame.
But if you did this, let's say twice during a lease, that's not really bothering the tenant, and
No,
what a bunch of value it adds to your owner client, right? So that's great value there for your owner, and it doesn't cost you any money other than
100%.
right. It's just no because once you have the Z inspector, that's the monthly cost.
Yep.
There's no cost on how many you send. So I think that's great. I think that's a really we didn't do this. We only did the one that was like 90 days out. So having ability to do this a couple times without having to schedule somebody to go out there, I think it's a great tool.
So I know we're already 20 minutes in, so I probably don't have time to go through everything that we were talking about, but it's the same gist for any version of the tenant completed inspections you guys are going to be doing. Um, and at the same time, like feel free again to reach out to us for any questions. We do have pre-move out inspections or another template that we have built in there where this isn't the actual move out inspection completed by your team, which we recommend, but it
Is
is,
this built because of California?
basically. That, and I know Maryland's another one where they have to invite the tenant to the move out inspection, but this is an opportunity for them to be like, here, you can do your own pre-move out inspection. And that makes it so the tenant's more comfortable with just going and not following along with the property manager. Not that anyone ever actually accepts that invite to go with the property manager for the move out, but that's an option that Maryland has to provide to their tenants. But yeah, there's that version of it. And then multi-tenant inspections too, the same boat. If you've got student housing, or if you've got three or four people living on the same lease, every single one of them can complete this inspection together. So every person on the lease will receive the invitation. They can complete it together. They'll be able to see each other's photos and things like that they take for their specific areas if they want to assign that out or whatnot, or if they have one person that's just more able to do things. So there's no arguing over, hey, did you complete the inspection? Why didn't you? And three people not getting the invite. So yeah, multiple tenants can complete all those things together in real time. Um, Big thing here is the renewal data spreadsheet. So, like I said, zInspector is a database. All of our information in the timeline is searchable. So, if you guys ever need to just generate a quick spreadsheet to send out to someone on your team to double check, hey, how are all these lease renewals going? How are all these scheduled move outs going? Have any of those inspections been completed, and are they all scheduled? This is data that you can pull really simply within zInspector at any given moment on the timeline. But yeah, there's that piece there. Again, some of these best practices, be able to search by your release date, send those invites in bulk, use your routing rules too for reports specifically. You can always make it so that an owner can receive things or certain staff members on your team that might need things. If you got a move out coordinator that's handling things, or if you have a specific contractor that you want to receive all of those pre-move outs just so they're aware for rehabs and whatnot, we can coordinate any of those things with routing rules. But yeah, like we said, note that non-compliance at those renewals inspections too. If there's anyone that's ignoring those requests, we can help you guys be on top of those too. But yeah, I think don't want to go too crazy on this one because it's supposed to be a quick call, but just listen in today.
We
Thank you
still
guys
got a
for
little bit
joining.
of time. I'm going to throw another curveball your way, Tim.
I like curveballs.
How is the inspector using AI in their software now?
How are we not using AI is a better question.
Okay.
Um, the biggest one that's been around for a year and a half, 2 years now is A Z assistant, instead of having to go, your team having to go through and take all those pictures and add notes manually and reports, we let you guys take videos of each area. And each item within each area is listed there so you know what you need to be talking about, things that need to be pointed out. So Z Assistant essentially is your inspection assistant. It fills out the entire report for you as you take videos and point things out and
That's
talk about
cool.
the things that need to happen. That's the big one. We've got a whole knowledge base section where you can essentially upload whatever documents or videos and things like that you want to into the knowledge base, and it'll generate a knowledge base articles for you guys, for you and your team, or even if you want to be tenant focusing, for instance, that's another piece where you can put your knowledge base within the Z Tenant app that we can generate all those articles and best practices for you guys there from your own documents. But big pieces are coming as well in terms of managing the scheduling piece too. From what I understand, we're going to start using AI to um, track the information we're pulling, like lease dates and contact information, and be able to help you guys set up smart task management within zInspector to send things out a lot more easier instead of having to go through and manually do everything yourselves too. So that's one of those things that's up and coming, and hopefully we'll have that ready for you soon.
Yeah, Phil's asking, what's your adoption rate for tenants invited versus participating? And I think we talked about that, and you're gonna see if you can get some of that information
Yeah,
and
I'll
send
see if
it
I
to
can get
us.
specifics. I know I've heard anecdotal stuff from customers all over the place. Anywhere from 60 to 75% is what they've mentioned are actually completing. But again, that's market by market, individual by individual. There might be perfect markets where you get your tenants completing 90% of them. And like I said, those different stipulations behind it too. If you've got it built into your lease, you should probably anticipate a lot of those people are going to be completing them versus the ones that maybe there's
Um,
no consequences for them doing it. There's less likelihood, but generally speaking,
I
really easy process of getting invited and completing that.
I think you can use a carrot here because a lot of times you may be charging, if you're charging a renewal rate, what you could do is if they do the inspection by a certain time frame, you can reduce that renewal rate. I think
Oh,
Todd
that's a good one.
Orshide has like a whole program on that. So that could be something. So like, hey, the renewal rate is X dollars, but if you do this by this time, then it's Y dollars or something like that. So there's some ways you can kind
I
of
like it.
use a carrot instead of a stick all the time, you know? All right.
Sweet.
All right. Well, if anybody has any other questions, Tim, thanks so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can find my little slide deal here, and I will, let's
I
see.
say really quick, if you are a zInspector user right now and you aren't part of the Facebook user group, I got a QR code up there right now for you to click on that and join the group. Or if you need a quick training or even a demo of zInspector, we've got our one-on-one link there as well. But always feel free to email or check out our help center. All those links are there for you guys too. So thanks for joining today.
Oh, that user group would be super helpful for sure. So if you guys are using zInspector, jump on that Facebook user group because all the best practices on how to get tenants to adopt. I bet you that user group has a bunch of good answers.
A bunch. And Andy's always teasing new stuff and asking for input as well. We do go directly to you guys as well to ask for input and for even we've got our newest version of the app is in beta testing right now that we send some invitations out through that group as well. So join us there and have some fun with us.
All right. Any other one last tip you can give, Tim, to anybody that's listening?
Stay awesome. You guys got this. It's about to get crazy, but you can do it.
It's about to get crazy. Yeah.
If
All
not
right.
already, right?
All right, everybody. Well, we appreciate it. Let's see. I'm going to replace and I'm going to do this. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. The next one we're gonna have Chris Wynn, who's the CEO of Lead Simple. I know a lot of y'all have questions about Lead Simple and where their direction's going and what the vision looks like. So we'll have Chris on there. If you're a Lead Simple user, you can ask him. We can ask him the tough questions and put him on the spot. Tim, I think I gave you a lot of softballs, maybe a few sliders, but for the most part, I try to give you some softballs. So next one is June 16th. And talk about questions. And if you want to schedule a meeting with me for any reason, feel free to hit that bad boy. Tim, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate the knowledge. I'm a big fan of zInspector. So if you guys are not using it, I highly recommend just doing a demo. If you can, Tim, just put your code back on there.
Yep. Let me get this shared
Give everybody
again.
1X last deal. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in here. If not, we are going to close this bad boy
And the
down.
feeling's mutual, Pete. You're awesome as well. Everyone go to Pete for all you need to.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate y'all. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot, Tim. Man, you did it within the time frame. I'm pretty, especially after all the questions I've been sending you. So,
I mean, we skipped a couple slides, but we did it. We got this. No worries.
out there. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you, Tim. We'll see you later, bud.
Thanks. Take care.
All right. Bye.